He knew he had to bear this humiliation with dignity, and he straightened up even more, pulling back his shoulders. Let those Bauman family members know that he, King William the Lion of Scotland, though he had agreed to the disgraceful marriage to their daughter, still remained a ruler and sovereign. Meanwhile, the procession was approaching. In just a moment, he would see his betrothed. Finally, the carriage came to a stop, and a servant helped a figure in a long fur cloak step down. Ermengarde de Beaumont bowed respectfully before the king, and when she lowered her hood, King William of Scotland froze. She was truly beautiful. Ermengarde had not yet been born when King William, the Lion, led his troops against the English. This strong, red-haired warrior had a cherished dream: to reclaim the long-lost Northumbria. This vast region in northern England could bring substantial wealth, as the lands belonged to William's family, and he boldly set out on his campaign. Fortune was as fickle as the English weather. William won one battle only to sound the retreat moments later. In the year 1074, fortune turned against him entirely. The English captured William the Lion. Northumbria was now a distant memory, and Scotland had essentially lost its independence. Henceforth, supreme power belonged to the King of England, and in exchange for his freedom, William was considered his vassal. The daughter of the Count de Beaumont was born 4 years before William's capture. A drop of royal blood. Her father was the grandson of an illegitimate daughter of Henry I, allowed for the hope that a suitable match could be made in the future. Yet, the Beaumont family was regarded as second-rate nobility. The continent was filled with unmarried princesses and duchesses whose lineage was far less questionable. They could only hope for good fortune, and fortune smiled upon the de Beaumont family. That very year, while granting William the Lion his freedom, the English king negotiated the right to find a bride for the Scot. He did not seize this opportunity too soon, waiting 12 years to act. He offered King William his poor relative, Ermengarde de Beaumont. The Scottish barons clenched their fists in rage. Apparently, the Englishmen intended to mock them, to place some pauper on their ancient throne. The most hot-headed among them suggested an immediate uprising, but William the Lion tried to calm his subjects. Yes, they were attempting to humiliate him, but the treaty was signed, and it was better to comply than to lose his head. The girl was promised to arrive in August of 1086. To sweeten the pill for the furious Scottish king, Henry II announced that he would cover all wedding expenses, provide a dowry for the bride, plus the salaries for 40 knights, and return all the castles lost by William the Lion, including Edinburgh. From that moment on, the alliance with Ermengarde no longer seemed so shameful to the Scots. Their first meeting melted the ice in William the Lion's heart. The 16-year-old daughter of Count de Beaumont was charming, and when they finally had a chance to talk, the King of the North realized that the young woman was not only intelligent, but also had a great sense of humor. She was simply exquisite. The wedding took place in September at the chapel of Woodstock Palace. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Baldwin Ford, frowned disapprovingly. The groom was looking at the bride with such open passion that it was almost inappropriate. Upon returning to Scotland, the newlyweds took up residence in a castle that essentially became Ermengarde's dowry. It was only there that the new queen discovered that her husband had numerous illegitimate children and a whole host of mistresses. However, she had no reason to mourn this revelation. From the moment she stepped into Edinburgh, William the Lion no longer cast his eyes upon any other woman. They were happy. Fate seemed to reward the king for his years of humiliation. 3 years later, when the new King of England, Richard I, prepared for a crusade but lacked the necessary funds, William the Lion helpfully suggested a solution. He would lend the Englishmen 10,000 in silver, and in return, Scotland would regain its freedom. Richard proved to be rather short-sighted and agreed to the Canterbury Treaty. Thus, the northern lands regained their independence. William the Lion and Ermengarde had 4 children, 3 daughters and a son. The Scottish ruler could rest easy about the future of his dynasty, as well as the affairs of the kingdom as a whole. As he aged, feeling increasingly ill and weary, he often entrusted Ermengarde with various matters, and she handled them exceptionally well. The daughter of the Count de Beaumont proved to be proactive, stubborn, energetic, and quite clever. William's health began to deteriorate rapidly after the year 1207. It became so severe that he could no longer manage the kingdom's affairs. Concerned, Ermengarde made a difficult decision. She needed to ensure a smooth succession. This required the Scottish barons to recognize her son Alexander as their king while William was still alive. And just in case, the English king needed to do so as well. The prince was introduced to John Lackland. King William I of Scotland passed away in the year 1214. Ermengarde was struck with grief. She loved her lion and could not imagine her life without him. When, on the 4th of December that same year, the ancient crown was placed upon their son's head, the Dowager Queen withdrew completely from affairs of state. Now, she only thought about a place for her future burial. Ermengarde de Beaumont founded a monastery in Fife, where she died in the year 1233. She was buried there as well,